You think you're safe during the day? My mom did too, until she saw something standing in our hallway, and it wasn't human. I was walking home from school on a hot afternoon. The sun was shining brightly, and I was feeling thirsty and tired. I had just moved into a new house with my family a month ago, and everything still felt new and unfamiliar. As I approached the house, I saw my mom standing outside, looking scared and worried. She was standing by the front gate, her eyes fixed on the house, as if she was waiting for something to happen. I walked up to her and asked, "Mom, what's wrong?" She turned to me, her face pale, and her eyes wide with fear. "I saw something moving inside the house," she whispered. "I was in the kitchen, and I saw a dark shape moving around. I got scared, so I came outside." I tried to calm her down, saying it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. But she looked really scared, and I felt a little scared too. I told myself ghosts only come out at night, right? I decided to go inside the house to look around and make sure everything was okay. I walked through every room, but I didn't see anything strange. The house was quiet and still, and I didn't hear any unusual noises. But despite the silence, the house felt weird, like someone was watching me. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I walked from room to room, my heart beating a little faster. After I finished searching the house, I went back outside to talk to my mom. She was still standing by the front gate, looking worried and scared. I told her I didn't find anything, and that the house was empty and quiet. But she just shook her head and said, "I know what I saw, and it wasn't my imagination." I didn't know what to say, so I just stood there with her, feeling a little scared and unsure. That night, I told my dad about what happened. He listened to my story, his face serious and concerned. But when I finished, he just smiled and said, "Don't worry, there's nothing to be afraid of. Your mom is just still getting used to the new house, that's all." He said maybe she saw a shadow from the curtains, or maybe she was just tired and stressed. But I didn't believe him. I thought he was hiding something, and I felt like something was off about the house. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I was going to find out. The next few days were eerily quiet. My mom tried to act like everything was normal, but I could see the fear lingering in her eyes, especially in the evenings. She started keeping all the lights on, even during the day, and would constantly check the doors and windows to make sure they were locked. It was as if she was waiting for something to happen. One night, I was jolted awake by a sound that sounded like footsteps in the hallway. At first, I thought it might be my dad getting up to use the bathroom, but when I looked out into the hallway, there was no one there. The sound continued, a soft tap, tap, tap of footsteps on the floor, and I stood frozen in my doorway, listening. Suddenly, the sound stopped, and the house was silent again. The next morning, I asked my dad if he had been walking around the house at night, but he said he hadn't. He claimed he had slept all the way through. My mom looked worried, but she didn't say anything. It was clear that we were all trying to pretend that everything was okay, but deep down we knew that something was off about the house. We were all walking on eggshells, waiting for something to happen, and the tension was palpable. One evening, things took a dark turn. I was sitting in the living room, engrossed in a book, when I heard a faint whispering sound. It was soft and raspy, and it seemed to be calling my name. I froze, my heart skipping a beat. I turned off the fan and TV to listen more closely, and the whispering grew louder. "Psst, here," it seemed to be saying, coming from the corner of the room. But when I looked, there was no one there. Just empty space. My heart was racing now, and I felt a chill run down my spine. I quickly got up and ran to the kitchen where my mom was cooking dinner. I asked her if she had said something, but she looked confused and shook her head. I didn't tell her what I had heard. I didn't want to scare her even more. That night, my mom refused to sleep in her room. She brought a blanket and slept in the living room, leaving the lights on. I could hear her praying under her breath, her voice trembling with fear. My dad still tried to downplay the whole thing, but his voice didn't sound as confident as it had before. He even tried to joke about it, but it fell flat. A few days later, something terrifying happened. It was a Sunday, and we were all home. I went to my room to get my phone charger, and as I opened the door, I stopped dead in my tracks. The room was freezing cold, much colder than the rest of the house. And then I saw it. A black figure standing in the corner of my room, still and unmoving. It had no face, just a dark shape with a head and shoulders. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. And then it rushed towards me. I slammed the door shut and screamed for my dad. He came running, confused and alarmed, but when he opened the door, the room was empty. The cold was gone, and everything seemed normal again, but I knew what I had seen, and I knew that I wasn't losing my mind. My dad looked at me like I was crazy, but I knew the truth. Something was very wrong in our house, and I was starting to realize that we were not alone. That night, none of us could sleep. My mom started crying, and she finally admitted that she had been hearing voices for days. My dad didn't say anything. He just sat silently on the couch, staring at the floor. The tension in the room was palpable, and I could feel the fear and anxiety emanating from my parents. The next morning, my father made a decision. He said we were moving out, no matter what. "We'll break the rental agreement if we have to," he said. "We're not staying here another day." Later, when he went to return the house keys to the property agent, the agent revealed a chilling secret. The house had a dark history, and the previous owner, an old man, had died alone in the same room where I saw the figure. His body wasn't discovered for weeks, and they said he had gone mad before he died, talking to shadows and claiming that something in the house was whispering to him every night. We packed our things and left that evening, eager to escape the clutches of the malevolent entity that haunted our home. Even now, years later, I still remember that black shadow, the way it moved, the cold in the room, and the voice that called my name in a whisper. Sometimes, when I walk alone in the dark, I feel like it's still with me, watching and waiting. If you've enjoyed this terrifying tale, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel.